Welcome, sports fans, to the latest S&M production of the Sunday Night Sports Nerd Show. It is the most absurd 90 minutes of anything goes, smack talk, and a whole lot more. Every Sunday night, the Sports Nerd joins forces with three charismatic co-hosts who are a select group of sports nerds with attitude, better known in Nerd Nation as the Rampant. We are four of the most loudmouth, smack-talking nerds around, coming at you with some sick rips and rants, which may be just enough to make you pee your pants. So listen up, Nerd Nation. Let's rise and welcome the legend himself. He is the founder, he is the host, and he is the star of the Sports Nerd Show. Coming to you live, straight out of Lakeland, Florida, Scott, the Sports Nerd. Right.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Sports Nerds, and it is another Sunday night episode of the Sports Nerds. Me and my co-hosts, Mr. Elliot Big E Lamba, John G. Olson, who's excited because there's football on national TV tonight.
Yeah, I think they have a scrimmage game tonight, right?
Scrimmage game against the Packers. And, of course, Mr. Ken Koslow. What's up, fellas? How we doing? John, you excited? You excited? Getting excited?
Oh, just a wee little bit, I'd say. I'm really excited. Just a wee bit excited.
You ready for that Bills defense to feast on Aaron Rodgers?
Dude, listen, it's our first game after a bye week, and it's just like the schedule makers this year for the Bills. It's like they don't seem to play like every Sunday at all. So it's like there's these big gaps. Even when they played the Thursday night, and then they didn't play again till like Monday night, right. And it was like. So this is the bye week. It's like I don't even know what Bills football is like. Someone tell me when the season starts. Like I'm not used to this, man. The Bills usually 1 p.m. afternoon games.
That's what
all
happens
the time.
That's what happens when you're prime time.
That's right.
That's
you are prime time now.
You go prime time. You get
welcome to prime time.
I'm here for it, man. Can't wait. So I'll be here in spirit. The second half of the show, but I'll kind of just be like this, like looking at.
You got the TV right in front of you there, John Day, or your computer screen for the game.
Computer screen. So it's on the same screen. I just
we'll fire your facial expressions and see what's happening.
Yeah, and you gotta, when they do these primetime shows, they've got to do the customary shot of Niagara Falls, and they'll talk about the weather and all. It's
Isn't
just
Buffalo like 20 miles from Niagara Falls. I mean, is it? I mean,
yeah, it's close. It's like it's 30-minute drive, not even.
Okay,
so yeah.
Plus, we have to have the obligatory buffalo wing shot too.
Yes, the buffalo wing shot, the Niagara Falls shot, the it's so cold here, and
With that being said, did you see the news this week about the proposed stadium in Buffalo?
Yeah. I mean, let's not put a dome on it because home field advantage. Crap, whatever. I don't care.
You want a dome? Don't you want a dome?
Oh yeah. Because it's like Buffalo weather sucks, man. Like it's awful.
You don't need a dome. You need a retractable roof.
There you go.
Yeah, you need a retractable roof because you need that sunshine when it is out.
Dude, I just it's whatever. I didn't expect them to build it. They're not gonna. They're so cheap, man. They're not gonna build a dome.
They're gonna need help from the city or and the taxpayers, and it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's whatever. So
it didn't happen for San Diego, and
thank you, Brett. Yes.
Not happen for Buffalo.
Yeah. It's all like you don't leave any city. Like driving from Niagara Falls to Buffalo is literally you go on Grand Island and you're there. It's the same. Like you go over a couple bridges and it's whatever. So the thriving metropolis of Niagara Falls. Dude, you definitely you tell the difference between countries, man. You go from the Canadian side of Niagara Falls, it's all like less Las Vegas-y and like shiny lights and casinos, and then you go across and it's just like a toxic waste dump, Niagara Falls, New York. It's just like anyways.
The kickoff's not till 8:15, so you should be here pretty much for most.
But I'll be like, doing this, just
isn't the Sky Tower on the Canadian side?
Skyline, yeah. Skyline's on, Skyline.
You can always try to fit it into 45 minutes.
What's that?
And just take the last 15 off so we don't have to watch your face.
Oh, come on, Elliot. Let him have his fun.
In case the unlikely happens, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well. All right, let's start with Thursday night. What the hell is going on with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, guys? Are we not happy to see Tom Brady and the Buccaneers?
The divorce is final.
Yes, the divorce is final.
So now he might be able to concentrate on football.
Maybe.
I doubt it.
Did you see some of the wounded ducks he threw that game, though? He threw some really bad passes, man. He was throwing him into the ground. He
should have retired last year. And so,
I mean, Brady's not looking like Tom Brady. I mean, granted, he's 45 years old. But I mean, some of the throws he made on Thursday night were just, what are you doing? That's so un-Brady-like the way he was throwing the ball.
His mind was on other things.
You think?
Yeah, I don't know how he's even operating, dude. Something like that.
He was thinking about ink drying. He was pondering the drying of divorce paper ink.
This is now 2 divorces for him, isn't it?
Is it?
I believe it is.
What the hell?
I can't keep up.
I don't. He's got kids from his first marriage, our first relationship. I don't know whether they were married or not, but they were married. But Giselle doesn't need to take half because she's richer than he is. So I don't know what their monetary ramifications were on that because she's got a lot more money than he does.
I don't know if they had a prenup or not.
I don't know. But there was a 13-year marriage. They've got 3 kids together or 2 kids together, whatever it is. Tom Brady's going to be retire at 45 and get into a TV career and be single and ready to rock and roll. So who knows what happens with him? So, anyway, I mean, Tampa is just they're a shadow of their former selves. They're not playing Tampa Bay football. And
you got to understand, they're missing 2. They're missing
their interior line and the offensive line. Yes, the interior.
Ryan Jensen and Arpet quit.
Yeah.
He retired at the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the receiving core that they had. Okay.
They still got Mike Evans, and they still got what's his face. I mean, but what, you don't think Mike Evans is? I mean, Mike Evans is Mike Evans.
Well,
I mean,
the biggest one of all is Gronk.
Yeah, well, missing Gronk is going to hurt.
There's no tight end there for him.
Yeah, and he really doesn't have an Edelman type in that offense either. He really doesn't have one.
He doesn't have an Edelman. He doesn't have what he used to have. Let's put it that way.
Right.
Because Gronk was his safety valve, man. I mean, he dump it off, and he was good for 10.
You know what I'm saying? That's why that meme came out that Giselle's suing for full custody of Gronk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's no chance in hell that Gronk comes back, is there?
No, he's not coming back. No,
absolutely not.
You know what? Yeah, Gronk's having too much fun in retirement. He really is. With all his commercial deals and stuff going on.
Brady needs to pull Avante Davis and just retire, man. Mid-season. Just call it a career, man.
Gronk is doing what Brady should have done, and that's go out on top.
Mm-hmm.
At the top of your game.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think he stayed 2 years too long, Ellie. I think you're right.
He should have when he won that Super Bowl.
He should have quit. He should have quit after last season because last season he was close to getting the Super Bowl. He was one broken defensive play away from getting back there.
Yeah.
They still had a great year last year. But
well,
this year was the year that he needed to retire. He needed not to come back.
Yeah, well, when they changed head coaches, it should have been a
and there you go. That's
indication to Brady, you're done. Get out of there. You know
I don't care what kind of friction he had with Arians.
Arians is one of the Arians. With Arians he had success, but with Todd
whatever friction he had with Arians, it obviously worked.
Yeah. Did anybody besides me see Todd Bowles when he coached the Jets? How bad a coach he was? I mean, come on, give me a break.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of the Jets,
yes. Speaking of the Jets.
Yeah, you can't put them up against New England in anything.
I mean, New England's got 13 straight against the Jets.
Dude, no. Let's rewind for a second. I don't know if Michael Dell is in here because I'm about to give the Dolphins some kudos. So just hold on. The AFC East has Josh Allen and then a very decent quarterback in Tua.
Yes.
Zach Wilson and Mac Jones are awful.
Wilson.
And that's not even me being a Bills fan hating on them. They're just
those two
awful.
Those two INTs he threw were pathetic.
Well, the one when he was trying to throw it away and didn't get it even close to being out of bounds, and he just threw it right into the hands of the defender.
But the other one too, he was throwing it up. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy,
the guy doesn't play well under pressure. Right? They kept panning over to Joe Flacco, and he wasn't even dressed.
Well, Joe Flacco is no longer Joe Flacco. He's not the elite Joe Flacco.
But you know what?
Well, now he got demoted.
Yeah.
Did you hear Salah after the game?
Flacco.
Joe Flacco's the third string now.
Wow.
That other guy, that Mike guy they had last year, he's number 2 now behind Zach. So Joe's third string now. Like, that's how bad it is in Jersey.
Yeah.
Like,
Joe Flaccid.
Joe Flaccid.
And look, I'm not happy that the Patriots won or the Dolphins won, but you got to tip your hat. First of all, I was watching. Obviously, I got Tyreek Hill on my fantasy, so I'm watching a whole lot of the Dolphins game.
Yeah.
Tua's release is when he's on. It's
so quick. So quick. Yeah. You're right. Yes.
And what was the big criticism when they got Tyreek Hill? How's Tua going to get him the ball?
Yeah.
Let's dig into the numbers in Miami and Detroit today.
It was like 200 yards each for Waddle.
Just remember that Detroit has a pathetic defense.
Receiving between Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Tyreek Hill had 12 receptions for 188, and Jalen Waddle had 8 for 106, but he had 2 touchdowns.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. And Gesicki had 3 catches and a touchdown today, too.
Yeah, like Miami, obviously, they don't scare me, but they have a quarterback. And all of the Bills fans that are like, oh, Tua sucks. No, Tua doesn't suck.
No, Tua doesn't suck.
Tua's pretty good.
And he did what he was supposed to do against that Detroit defense.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Plain and simple.
And if you notice when he was running the ball, when he did run the ball today, he was sliding and getting away from getting hit, too. So he was being smart with the ball as well.
When Tua is cuffed, he is dangerous.
Yes.
He is a very dangerous quarterback when he's not concussed.
Well, at halftime, the Lions were up 27-17. They were up 10 points at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
But then Miami came back and scored 2 touchdowns in the third quarter. And there you go.
Well, you knew it was inevitable that Detroit was going to get out. I mean, it wasn't inevitable that they get out to the lead that they did, but it was inevitable that they were going to give up over 30.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. That's all you got to do with Detroit is just put up as many points as they put up, and
I mean, exactly. And in the end,
I'll tell you what, Brett asks about Miami's run game. They've got 2 good running backs, Raheem Mostert and Chase Edmonds. They're pretty decent running backs. They're not. I mean, today they ran for a total of 78 yards combined, but
they didn't have to run.
They didn't have to run.
Tua was slinging it all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, that's the argument too. Oh, the Buffalo doesn't have a run game outside of Josh Allen. It's like they don't have to run it.
Well, besides, if Detroit has any strength on defense, it's against the run.
Yes, correct.
Okay, they just can't defend the pass, and it showed again. You know what I'm saying? It showed against Bailey Zappi. Okay.
Yeah.
Zappy.
Yeah. And a side note, not that John wants to hear this, but a side note with that win today, Bill Belichick passed George Halas on the all-time wins list.
Yeah. Not the all-time wins list. I thought he had like 20 more to go before.
He passed George Halas. He's still behind Don Shula. He's still behind Don Shula.
He's catching Shula
behind Shula, right?
But he's passed George Halas for second to be second on that list.
He wants that. Like, I don't think Bill's going to retire until he gets that thing.
I think once he gets it, he might consider it.
I think he's within 20 of Shula, isn't he?
22, because it was 23 before the game.
Yeah.
So
he can do it. He can do it in 2 or 3 seasons. Right. He can do it in 2 or 3 seasons.
Not 2. Not in the AFC East. He's not.
No, he'd have to. At the end of this season, he'd be probably within 16 or
2024 or 25.
6 more games, which I don't know if they really can because they're not going to play the Jets every week.
Right.
Okay. It all depends on what goes from there. I mean, I just don't see them being more than a 500 team anymore.
Not with Mac Jones.
Not with Mac Jones.
Not with Mac Jones. Yeah, they really don't have a lot of weapons. I mean, the Jets. I mean, for the most part, the Jets dominated most of that game until the second half. But,
Garrett Wilson was good.
Yeah, but it's
a shame they lost Breece Hall.
Yeah, man.
That's
key because
that's a huge loss because he was their running game is basically who Hall was. He was their running game. So,
he was killing it.
Yep.
Kind of like that kid in Seattle, Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
The third
beast. Oh my God.
Yeah, he was running pretty heavy today too.
Oh shit. Last touchdown.
Let's go to. I want to go to New Orleans and Vegas.
Oh, dude.
Oh
my gosh.
Vegas, really?
Oh.
The only reason I bring it up is because they got shut out.
Yeah, for the first time since 2004, I think it is.
Yeah.
Guess who's got Devontae Adams on the fantasy team?
I'm sorry, 2014.
Yeah.
Was the last
Guess who got 1.5 fantasy points?
Yeah. What was with? I mean, is Derek Carr?
I'm sorry, but I went ahead and picked up Devontae Adams, and he got me 1.2 points today.
Yeah, that's what I got. It was great. It was wonderful. Thank goodness for CMC, or else my week would be.
I feel so bad for Devontae Adams, dude.
He had it made in Green Bay. Yeah,
but the greed of one Aaron Rodgers prevented him from staying there.
That's right.
Yeah, it wasn't like Devontae was saying trade me. It wasn't like Devontae was this, like, I don't like it here. Like,
no.
Bro, take the cut. Have your stud wideout for the rest of your career.
That's all he was looking for, support from his quarterback. The quarterback that he obviously made the last few seasons. Because Aaron Rodgers looks like a shell of himself now.
Dude, you know what's so funny about this? It wasn't like Aaron Rodgers whining and complaining about not getting a wideout one on that team for like years. And then they get like arguably other D-Hop and Diggs. I mean, Devontae Adams is probably top 3, top 5 in the league.
Yeah, you can put Chase in that conversation too, but yeah.
Like, what's going on? Like, this shows you that Aaron Rodgers doesn't really care about winning as much as
Well, and
that's why he doesn't cost.
Aaron Rodgers.
You see how he's passing off blame on the rest of the team except himself for what's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
everybody
why I want
else
Buffalo
has to play up to the standard of winning, or they need to be on the bench. Why don't you bench your own ass?
Well, the problem is going to be that you don't have the playmakers on that side of the ball in the wide receiver core to be able to live up to that expectation. He really doesn't have the talent. You can't count on Sammy Watkins.
He doesn't have the offensive line either.
Sammy.
It appears that anytime David Bakhtiari isn't playing,
he's playing tonight.
You know what I'm saying?
He better play tonight.
Here's the thing, though, is that he didn't work to develop the receivers in training camp. He wanted them to freaking get on the page on the first page.
He didn't work with the receivers in the offseason like other quarterbacks did, right?
You know what I'm saying? He didn't do nothing to develop or make those guys ready for the season.
He didn't spend any time with them in the offseason at all.
He spent a lot of time criticizing.
Yes, he did.
Which is something that he does really well.
Yep.
Just to go on Brett's question there, Josh McDaniels is an awful head coach. That's also the reason.
Oh, yeah, he's terrible.
He's terrible. Awful. Him and Nate Hackett can go to the moon, man. They can just – those guys.
It's funny because McDaniels used to coach Denver. You think Denver would have learned by now that their freaking coaching decisions are horrendous. Okay?
Thank you, John Elway.
Hackett saved his job this morning for at least another week.
Yeah. I didn't watch it.
They only play in Jacksonville, so you can't really.
Yeah, and I don't want to spend $7.99 on ESPN Plus. And Ken, thanks for the link, but even free wasn't worth my time.
Yeah.
I have ESPN Plus, and I didn't watch the game, so I mean, come on.
Can I ask you guys a question?
I'm actually $10 for it.
This happens a lot. Is there a big problem with guys that are supposed to be absolute studs at the quarterback position coming out of college, and then in the NFL they kind of flop, a la Trevor Lawrence? Or is it too early to say Trevor Lawrence is becoming?
I think it's too early to say Trevor Lawrence is a flop, and the reason I say that is because look what he had to work with last season when he was a rookie.
Trevor Lawrence has never had anything to work with.
No, he really hasn't. He's got a good coach now. Okay.
Yeah. But he still doesn't have enough talent around him.
Doesn't have enough talent around him.
Yeah, Zay Jones ain't it, man.
And Travis Etienne is probably the best player he's got.
Yeah. And his overblown contract.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not the answer. I mean, Travis Etienne finally showed up today.
Yes, he did. He had a good game today.
Had a good game.
But he ain't going to be the one that's going to take him anywhere if Trevor Lawrence can't get his shit together. And he's not going to be able to do that if he ain't got the weapon. Right now, he's got about as good a weapons as Aaron Rodgers does.
Right. I agree.
But
yeah.
He ain't no Aaron Rodgers.
The thing with Trevor Lawrence, he's not used to losing like this because he never lost in college that much.
How many Heisman Trophy quarterbacks flopped in the NFL?
John, that commenter there you see is actually Mr. Derek Laughlin. Believe it or not, he's joining.
Dude, I'm not counting anything out. Like it's first of all, it's the Buffalo Bills, and I know we're Super Bowl favorites and all that, but we're still the Buffalo Bills, and the Buffalo Bills are notorious for buffaloing things.
Yes.
So
Brett,
remember last season,
that link is going to link your account back to.
All I need is for them to win by 7
stream.
Well, the line was 10.5, right? So
the Packers are double-digit. Underdog for the first time in
forever. Parlay, they're 6.5.
Watch Aaron Rodgers
took the Packers to cover.
I just I don't know, man. I could see Josh having a stinker just because he's supposed to have like a ball out game.
See, you're being negative ninny again,
John. No, it's not negative ninny. It's the Buffalo Bills, man.
He may have a point, though, because right now Green Bay has the number one defense versus the pass in the NFL.
So that's why
it's in Orchard Park. It's on prime time.
Sunday night.
After a bye.
I get it.
I mean, I'm thinking Brett Favre against the Raiders the day his dad died. Okay, this is what I'm thinking for Josh Allen tonight. Yeah. So see, even Derek, as a Packers fan, is not expecting a great night for the.
He's the Packers fan, right? He's the one saying all this. Dude, I'm
thinking this reverse psychology myself, but
I don't want to see a close game. I don't do good on close games. It's either we get blown out or we do the blowing out.
Yeah.
I don't want to see no Baltimore last possession game. So
I don't think you got to worry about that.
Tonight's going to be overtime against you in the playoffs last year.
I think Allen and Singletary are going to have big games tonight running.
I hope so. I need Singletary's on my fantasy team. I need him to go off. Thanks to Devontae Adams' 1.2 fantasy points.
Exactly. I got Singletary too, and I need it.
Oh, points allowed per game. There you go. Packers 20.9, Bills 13.5.
Yeah, and the Bills got a great defense. Okay, that's fine. And Jordan Poyer is just fired up, and he's probably, but see, this is the thing. Rodgers doesn't throw deep balls, especially when he doesn't have anyone to throw to. Right, that's his thing. He doesn't want to throw picks, so it's an Aaron Jones type thing, and we're better.
And it's AJ, it's Aaron Jones, and who's the other? AJ
Dillon.
Dillon.
So here's the problem with Green Bay is that they haven't been using AJ Dillon.
Right.
And why is that? Because they fall behind and they can't use their running game. The big talk all season was that Aaron Jones was going to be more of a receiver than a running back, and then we're going to give AJ Dillon the ball.
Well, because they don't have any receiver, that's why you got to give it to Aaron Jones. So I mean,
I'm just saying he could look. Aaron Jones can play receiver just as well as he plays running back.
Correct.
Matter of fact, they were predicting he'd be the number one receiver on the Packers in the preseason. ahead of Lazard. Okay.
He's throwing this out. Derek keeps throwing this out. Allen is going to light him up. I mean, he's got no confidence whatsoever in the Packers. And that actually bothers John.
It does. I don't like that. I don't like
he fears the jinx. Okay. He fears the jinx.
Like I just let us be the
stressing him out, Derek. Not doing that, man.
Like I don't like it. I'm not used to it, and it's
as far
like
as John's concerned, Buffalo's the underdog tonight.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Derek, save it for 2 weeks from now, okay? Please.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something, John. This is something I thought I heard this morning on Fox. This is the Bills' first Sunday night game since 2007.
No, well, yeah, they had one during the COVID year, but no one was in the stands.
Like I said, things change when you're a primetime team. You know what I'm saying?
We're a primetime team, man. It's cool, but it's like,
you know what? Can I ask a question? Will Derek Laughlin come on here and apologize if by chance the Packers win tonight? Will he come and apologize to the Packers?
He's always up to come on the show. You know he is.
Because you got to watch it. His predictions don't usually always turn out the way he's.
No, he's not a great predictor of games. He's not. His history isn't that great. You're right, Elliot.
Save it for 2 weeks,
Derek.
But 7 years in running.
Yeah, you're no Jimmy the Greek. I'm just gonna say, okay.
Yeah, Nostradamus of football, you're not.
Yes, you're no Jimmy the Greek. Oh, he's 11-2 this week. Well, even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while, Derek. It's all good.
Straight up against the spread.
I'm 12-1 thanks to the Jets.
The Jets. The FAIL. Fail.
Poor Rich Eisen. He was so high on those guys.
Last week I was 12. What was it? 12-2. No thanks to the fact that it was Brady and Rodgers that cost me in my only 2 losses.
Just wait till tomorrow when Greeny does his show from the edge of the edge of
a cliff,
the edge of the building.
The edge of the Empire State Building?
Edge of the building, yeah.
Yes.
The Giants lost too, right?
Yes, the Giants did lose to Seattle, yes.
So the Jersey teams lost. So much for that
Seattle
that narrative. New York teams are doing so good.
And Elliot asked me, Elliot said he wanted to talk about this. Is Seattle for real? They're first place in the NFC West.
Wow.
Is Seattle for real? Is Geno Smith finding his groove in Seattle?
See, that's Kendrick Perkins tweeted that out. He's like, I know Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen are like MVP, but don't sleep on Geno Smith. It's like what I love the most about that is how they basically fleeced the Denver Broncos. That's the best thing about it because
they sure did.
Absolutely.
They got all the first round picks now, and they got a quarterback who is playing a lot better than the guy they traded for.
Well, Russell Wilson's being called Drew Lock 2.0 right now.
Yeah.
Well, now Russell had a good game today. He made a couple of Russell.
He played the Jaguars. Everybody has a good game against the Jaguars.
Yeah, that's true. All right, forget I said that. You're right. Yeah, they are, Derek. You're right. They're way better than expected. And I'm real happy for Geno Smith because Geno Smith has been wallowing in obscurity for years in the NFL. And he's got this connection with Lockett and Metcalf. I mean, face fact that Metcalf dropped a sure touchdown today because it hit off his face mask.
That was Lockett.
Or was that Lockett? I'm sorry, it was Lockett that dropped that sure touchdown. But he redeemed himself later by catching the winning score.
You saw the way he caught the next one, right?
Yes. Yeah, give me that ball. I'm not dropping this motherfucker.
He hugged it on the way to the.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm just glad that DK was not hurt as bad as he was last week.
Yeah, I mean he's come back from a serious injury this year.
Yeah.
And he's been really good.
Hey,
Brad, I mean Lockett had an up and down day with the fumble in the red zone and the drop TD pass. He was heading for a bad day, but he made up for it and got that touchdown at the end there. And everybody was coming up to him after that score and giving him a great big hug and everything, including Drew Lock, as you mentioned, Elliot.
I think he's just he's feeling it now. He's getting used to his receivers because he has two really good receivers.
He does. He has two really. I mean, he's got two.
He's getting
two potential Hall of Fame receivers on that.
Get Noah Fant involved in the offense.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, and I hate to say this because people getting injured is not the coolest thing in the world. But a blessing in disguise was Rashad Penny getting injured so that Kenneth Walker III could step in.
I mean, that dude's a bruising back. I mean, he runs people over. It's fun to watch.
That touchdown run he was in beast mode.
Yes, he was.
I'm telling you right now, that guy is something else. Okay, and if that defense in Seattle could hold up, they might just be for real. But let's see what happens when they have to face us again with CMC.
Speaking of which, let's go to that game, the Rams and the Niners. CMC with the Triple Crown today, gentlemen. A passing touchdown, a receiving touchdown, and a rushing touchdown.
I love that kid. I absolutely love that kid.
How good is that trade?
Yeah. Roll out the stats.
Fantasy dream.
Let's hear it.
Dude, I don't even know, but he got like 50 fantasy points today, so it's like I'm happy with it.
I think he finished with like 37.
No, I got 46 on mine. But I don't know the scoring.
Let's find out. Christian McCaffrey, 18 carries for 94 yards and a touchdown. 8 catches for 55 yards and a touchdown. And he threw for a touchdown.
34-yard bomb.
Yes.
To Brandon Ayuk.
29.
18 rushes for 94 yards and a rushing TD. 8 receptions for 55 yards and a receiving TD for 9 yards.
Yep.
Would have been 35 points in my old league.
38.6 in my league. I don't know what.
So San Francisco extends that winning record against the Rams in the regular season to 8 games. Right?
They own the Rams.
They own the Rams. And you know what? You can just tell by the amount of San Francisco fans that were in that.
I mean, the stadium had more Frisco fans than it did have.
Why does LA have not one or two teams? Explain this to me, please.
They had like little spots of blue around the amongst the sea of red.
It's so bad. Like how do this city have 2 teams? Like I get it, it's a big market, but
that's the only reason because of the big market.
No one in that city gives a
one in that city likes football.
They're all Raiders fans.
Chargers fan base is down in San Diego.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And the Rams have never had a fan base.
Not in
LA is a baseball and basketball town. Always has been, always will be. It's the Lakers, Clippers, and the Dodgers. That's it.
They might have had
LA's football team is USC.
Yes.
I think they might have had somewhat of a fan base in the first iteration of the Los Angeles Rams. But after they went to St. Louis, LA just gave up on NFL football. Even the Raiders tried to come down here.
The NFL really did not suffer when there was no team in LA. It really didn't suffer at all.
But the market did. See, that's the whole thing. Is that if you don't have that market, I mean, that market makes the NFL a lot of money. Plain and simple.
But there's no fan base.
Doesn't matter. They still make them a lot of money.
I mean, even the Chargers don't have a fan base in LA.
You saw how many Buffalo fans were in there in the first game of the season, right?
Yeah.
That's because everybody travels well to LA.
Yeah.
All other fan bases travel really well to LA. That's all there is to it. Yeah. I mean, again, San Francisco showed their domination of the Rams, of what's his name, McVay, of Stafford, of that whole organization. And the only way that they could beat us was when they cheated in the playoffs last year? When they were assisted by the NFL and the referees? That's the only way they could beat us.
Yeah.
I got to go on what Brett and Derek are saying in here in chat. Like, do they even need Jeff Wilson? Like, they?
Once Elijah Mitchell comes back, they won't need him. But they're looking to trade him. There's teams that are looking to pick him up. They're looking to trade for him.
Who did the Niners have in place of Debo today?
Ray McLeod.
Ray
he had one
McLeod.
He had one catch for 11 yards.
Buffalo Bills legend.
Okay.
Ray
But
McLeod.
they didn't need anybody because Ayuk played well, and so did Kittle. Kittle's back.
He had 3 catches for 39. That touchdown pass he caught was great. I loved it.
Okay, Kittle's getting back to him.
Well, played the hell out of Travis Kelce last week.
Yes, he did.
Did you hear about Deebo Samuel thanking ownership for picking up CMC?
No, I didn't hear
He
about
was
that.
thanking them directly on the sideline.
Right.
They were talking about it in the game. How he was thanking them for picking up CMC, and the owner says, "Well, I just can't wait to see both of you on the field at the same time."
That's going to be something. That's going to be something.
That's gonna be crazy. Like that's what's so exciting about it, man. Like it's
if you put both of them in the backfield at the same time,
you don't know what's going to happen.
Imagine. Sorry, Elliot. This is going to hurt your feelings, but imagine if San Fran had a killer quarterback.
Oh yeah, no, I get it.
Like,
I don't feel anything about that. You know what I'm saying? But it could be worse. We could have Trey Lance.
Right.
Okay, so I'll settle for Jimmy G at the moment. But they need to.
But I tell you what, the 2023 draft.
What they need to do is they need to find a way to pick up another draft pick in the first round and grab one of these other.
Because the 2023 draft is going to be 4 quarterbacks.
Trade Lance on to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Because Lance is a bust before he even got going. And that's the way I look at it. Jimmy G is fine because in the end, he knows how to manage a game.
He's a game manager. That's all he is. He's a game manager.
That defense is on it. But now you give him a weapon like Christian McCaffrey to go with Deebo Samuel and Kittle and Ayuk. When those guys start gelling together.
Yeah, this is only the second game, right?
Yep.
San Francisco's going to be scary. That's all there is. And that's why I said Seattle's for real. We beat them. Okay. But let's see how real they are when they play us again, when we go up to Seattle. Because that's what's going to determine who's going to win. I think those are the two that are fighting for the division right now, Seattle and San Francisco.
Weren't we the guys that
said in the season, though, isn't it?
I'm sorry, weren't we the guys that said that Seattle was going to finish last in that division?
Everybody told them they would finish last.
Dude, I said that Chiefs were going to finish last in the AFC West.
You can ask anybody.
Not only did everybody pick them last, they picked them distant last.
If there's anybody out there that say they pick Seattle to finish first or even being first, they're fucking lying.
Because we all decided before the season, Seattle was going to be the seller. It was done. They were done.
Nobody saw
Smith and Drew Lock when they're done. How wrong were we?
Well, we're wrong.
Don't listen to me with predictions. That's for sure.
So far, we've underestimated them through the first 8 weeks.
Right.
Okay. The second half of the season is still pending. All right. They still got another 8 games to go.
Yeah, but right now the Cardinals look like the worst team in that division right now. The Cardinals do.
Well, that's because the Cardinals ain't got no defense.
Yes,
the quarterback is too small. You know.
He's in trouble.
And,
I mean, they looked awful in Minnesota today. They looked just flat out bad. They really did. I'm going to move on.
Okay.
Ken.
Yes.
Dallas beats the Chicago Bears today.
I just got it. Micah Parsons, that pick 6, the fumble recovery for the pick. Like, why didn't Justin
Was
Fields?
Was that not the play of the year? Was that not the play of the year?
That's all he had to do was touch it.
I think the play of the year was Justin Fields jumping over him.
Yeah,
like if he was running hurdles.
I was cracking up laughing
and
watching it.
And you know when I knew the Bears didn't stand a chance in that game? When they came dressed up as street cones.
Yes, right.
They decided to go Halloween as street cones on the football field.
This is 2 weeks in a row they've worn those.
Them orange helmets did not do them any justice.
I got
I'm gonna take off just because it's pregame and I gotta, that's so.
Good luck, John.
Yes,
enjoy the game.
Don't be afraid to send me the recording too.
I'll send you the recording. I promise.
I love you guys. Sorry to bow out, but my focus, my attention. When
this focus has to be on. Yes, we know.
They need me. They need me.
Okay.
All right.
I got them to win.
Let me just keep going here, Ken. Tony Pollard, 14 carries, 131 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Tony Pollard will be my next Cowboys jersey. You see me wearing. I hope.
After the game,
deal.
After the game, Jerry Jones was asked.
We all want to, Brett.
Jerry Jones was asked about whether or not Pollard would be the number 1 back, even when Zeke was ready to come back.
That's the question I was going to ask right now. What happens with Zeke?
Cowboys owner Jerry Jones said that after the win, that Pollard's showing won't impact Elliott's role going forward.
You know why?
Elliott will still be the number 1 back.
You know why? Because
did you see Zeke applauding him after every touchdown run and everything today?
Yeah,
that's what teammates do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But Zeke knows. Zeke's comfortable. He knows that Jerry Jones is about the money, and he's spending more money on Zeke to put his ass on the bench than he is on Pollard. Pollard might be a good pick. Pollard, I think, is the future number 1 back in Dallas. But as long as
Tony Pollard is the best back in Dallas at the moment.
Yes, he is.
I understand that from a talent
standpoint. One of the best backs in the NFC right now.
Yes. Understood.
Tony Pollard is where Zeke was 3 years ago.
3 years ago, right.
But you're not going to convince Jerry Jones.
No. No. But he's going to try and run them, both split the carries and everything, which will give the Cowboys. Look, Cowboys had 200 yards rushing today.
Yep.
Bears had 240. I can't remember the last time both teams had 200 yards rushing in the same game. But yeah, I mean, we got off to a 28-7 lead. We slipped up a little bit, let them catch up, but then we took off again and left them behind. So,
well, actually, Cowboys had 166 yards rushing today with Pollard. Dak Prescott was the second leading rusher with 34 yards.
Right.
Pollard had 131. The Bears, they had a three. Well, Justin Fields had 60 yards rushing himself.
Right.
And Herbert and Montgomery combined for 142 yards.
Right.
So yeah, the Bears had 200 yards rushing, but Tony Pollard did the most damage with 3 touchdowns today.
That last long touchdown he had.
Yes.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
Just remember that the Chicago Bears run defense is caca.
It's Swiss cheese. It really is. It's Swiss cheese.
Because you saw what Ramondre Stevenson did to them on Monday night.
When he got past when Tony got past the 40-yard line, I said, "See ya. You ain't gonna catch him now."
Right.
I could see that coming when I saw him his senior year at Memphis, and saw him running back kicks and running the ball, and I go, man, I wouldn't mind seeing him come here. And sure enough, we got him.
And Dallas just took possession in second place, right? Because the Giants.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Now wait. Dallas is 6-2, so are the Giants. But did the Giants beat the Cowboys?
No, they lost.
No, we beat the Giants.
They lost on the Monday night. That was only the Giants' only loss up until today.
Right. Yeah. So technically, the Cowboys are leading that division over the Giants.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, Ken, the owner obviously is playing with blinders on because he can't see what's right in front of his face. He's thinking about, well, I'm paying this guy this much money to be the number 1 running back.
Look,
Tony Pollard proved today he could be a number 1 running back on any NFL team in their league.
God, I will never ever go out on a limb to defend Jerry Jones for anything.
Okay? Neither will I.
But
and neither will Ken.
But I'm gonna push back on the blind thing. Okay, he's not blind. He can see exactly what the hell is going on in front of him. He's just too stubborn.
Exactly.
To
His
let him
ego,
go.
he's got the same ego that Brady and Rodgers have.
He doesn't want to be questioned
No.
as to whether or not his man Zeke should be replaced by Tony Pollard.
Name me, okay, I want to ask you guys a question. Name me one other owner in any sport where the media immediately goes after him after the game rather than a quarterback or a running back or a
He's the only
player.
he's the only
Anybody.
owner in professional sports that holds his own press conference after every game.
Yes. He's got his own radio show.
And that is
in the
ego
mornings.
on overdrive.
Yes.
Which is why he is not blind. He is just he's
Stupid.
He's got an overblown ego that will not allow him to concede to anything that doesn't come from him.
If he could tuck his ego away and run this team like Arthur Blank has run the Falcons, we would have those Super Bowl rings.
Well, let me ask you this.
Everything.
Look.
Well, and that can be said about most any other owner in the NFL too.
Why do you think Mike McCarthy is still the coach of the Cowboys?
Because he doesn't want to admit he made a mistake.
Well, not only that, but he can control Mike McCarthy. Why did he get rid of Jimmy Johnson?
Yes.
Because he couldn't control him.
He got rid of Jimmy Johnson. He got rid of Bill Parcells because he couldn't control him. Come on.
They wouldn't be yes men for him. And that's what McCarthy is perfect.
Well, that's what Jason Garrett was for all those years.
McCarthy will stand up to him, and when he does, that's when Jerry will send him away.
Well, and
that's what happened.
You know what? And Jason Garrett,
Sean Payton.
Jason Garrett was also a yes man for Jerry Jones.
McCarthy ain't got the nads to do that though. He ain't got the set.
Well, I don't know. He did in Green Bay.
He wants to keep his cushy little job. Okay, he wants to keep.
Well, he had a cushy little job in Green Bay too.
Yeah, until Aaron Rodgers came along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There ain't nobody that got that kind of clout on the Cowboys.
We play them in 2 weeks up in Lambeau, and I hope we kick the fucking shit out of them.
You just might. I don't see why you wouldn't even go into that game favored.
Pollard's not going anywhere. He knows where the money is.
No, but you know what? If Dallas was smart, they'd get as much as they can for Zeke right now.
Absolutely, but nobody's going to take that contract.
Nobody's going to take that contract.
Nobody wants him.
Just like nobody wants Dak Prescott's contract.
Right.
That's why Cooper Rush is not still the Cowboys quarterback.
That's his contract. Zeke isn't.
So again, you got to go with the ego. It has nothing to do with blinders. He can see as clear as day as the rest of us can.
Elliot,
he sees what he wants to see.
What's Brett talking about here?
Elliot made a face palm the other day when the name Kadarius Toney came up. You cared of
whatever verbal.
How many games has he played in the NFL in 3 seasons?
I don't know.
3. He's always on the he's Kenny Galladay 2.0.
Yeah.
Brett, do you have any idea how much money that's you're going to have to eat in order to send Zeke away? That's a hell of a lot of money.
And that's why Jerry continues to support him because he's paying him all that money. He doesn't want to look like an idiot.
I understand that Kadarius Toney went to the Kansas City Chiefs.
And still, even if we did trade Zeke, we'd still be responsible for that in the salary cap.
But Kadarius Toney has not shown that he is anything NFL yet.
Yeah.
Sure, he might show something in Kansas City, but he hasn't shown it to this point. I've heard a lot about how great he could be, this, that, and never saw it.
Bless you.
Jesus, what a freak.
I can't see with the last part of that. Elliot, I don't like what? Because
I don't like that trade.
Your shield is in the way there.
He says, Elliot, I don't like that trade.
Okay. I mean, I don't see why they made the trade. Again, Toney hasn't been anything on the football. He's Kenny Galladay 2.0. The guys are never on the field. They're always on IR, always injured. Never playing. That's why the guys on NFL Fantasy Live, they were like, "Oh, is he healthy all of a sudden?"
Right.
Because he was never healthy when he was the Giants.
I can't remember much.
He had one good game with them in 3 seasons, and there wasn't much home to write about, much to write home about, you know. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see. But he's going to have a lot. They got too many mouths to feed in Kansas City already.
Right. Yeah, they do.
How's he going to fit into that?
One last topic I had on my list. Minnesota. Are they a top 5 team in the NFC?
No.
Really?
They will be the division champions, but they're not top 5.
By default.
Yeah.
By default.
By default.
They will win the division.
There ain't nobody else in there.
Well, I mean, if you look at the NFC.
Plus, they play in a conference where the best team in one division is 4-4.
True.
Yeah.
And the next best team is 3-5. Okay.
Well, they are 6-1 after today. They're 6-1.
Well, yeah, that you can get rich playing teams like the Cardinals and today's Packers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it is. But
can I ask a question?
Kirk Cousins in primetime never factors out.
Yeah. Can I ask you another question about the Cowboys game right quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you guys think that was really roughing the passer? When I thought that was ridiculous. That's
which one?
The one where our interception got turned over because the defensive tackle got in Justin Fields' face and knocked him over. I mean, he pretty much plowed him over, but he was already jumping up. There was nowhere for him to go.
I think Tom Brady set the precedent for bad quarterback roughing calls. Yeah, he set a bad precedent, and now referees feel like they can call it at their discretion. If it's close, they call it.
If they let that go, then Cowboys win 41.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But again, Brady set a precedent.
He did.
With that bullshit ass roughing the passer call that he got.
And Troy Aikman's getting fried.
There's been a few other ones now that have been questionable. You know, it's going to become a trend. Why? Because the referees made it that way.
Troy Aikman made a comment about it, and now he's getting fried for it.
Troy Aikman's been putting himself in a lot of hot water lately.
Yes.
Well, yeah, him and Joe Buck are on ESPN
with
now.
His commentaries.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Troy thinks he can be more outspoken now that he's on ESPN as opposed to being on Fox. Who knows?
Yeah. Excuse me? Since when can you not be outspoken on Fox?
That's true. Too. Yeah. That's a good point. Oh. We lost Ken. There, he's back. The heck did you do, Ken?
What'd you do, fart?
I don't know. Well, all of a sudden, I was somewhere between Jupiter and.
Yes.
I'm back. I don't know.
We got about 5 minutes left, guys. Anything else going on that you want to talk about? I mean, now that John's here, can we talk World Series or no?
Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
We'll make him suffer through that when he uploads the video.
Exactly.
I did not watch the game last night because I figured the Astros would win.
Yeah.
But now they're going to Philadelphia. Yeah, the Astros
let's go
Phillies.
You know, as much as I hate the fan base in Philadelphia because of the Eagles and all that,
yes.
I watched the game
because I can't stand the Astros.
I watched the game up to the point where the Astros went up 5-0 again.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured at that point, Philly wasn't going to repeat a 5-0 comeback. Yeah. So
I'm hoping the Phillies will kick their asses. And
what have the Phillies done? They've won the first game of every series, the 4 series they've been in. And then in the other 7-game series, they split the first 2 and then went home and swept the 3.
I've got a lot. I mean, I feel bad because I like Dusty Baker. I really do.
I
like
do too.
Dusty Baker. I love him.
I do too. I wish he was coaching somebody else besides Astro.
Correct. Yeah, me too.
Did you know that on September 1st, Las Vegas's odds had the Phillies at 300-1 to win the World Series.
Right.
Put $20 on that, you come away with $6,000 if they win a series. I wish I had.
Well, a guy at our gym, his friend put $65,000 on a 17 parlay and walked away with 3.3 million.
Nice.
By the way, Powerball is now $1 billion.
Yeah. I'll stick to my little parlay bets on FanDuel.
I'm making money that way than you do with the lottery.
Yeah.
$125 a week. I can handle that.
I'm playing Predictor on NBC Sports, and man, that is hard because I'm not getting anything off of it. It's like playing the lottery.
Hard, man. Yep. The beat the streak game, that
right. I haven't played that in a long time. I quit playing the Fox game too.
I try not to play those types of games, man. Because
don't put links in the chat, man. I don't care what they are. Just don't put links in the chat, dude.
Nobody needs links, dude.
Right.
Ignore that. Yeah, we did. Totally ignored that. Hey, what was that? 3-0 for Buffalo?
Yes, it was.
3-0. Yep.
John's probably
throwing his hand on the floor and everything.
Pulling his beard hairs out.
Yeah.
He ain't got nothing up top to fuck with.
Yeah.
I've seen the video.
Did you see the video, Ken?
Yes, I did.
What were your thoughts on that? Did Michigan?
What was your thought on that? Michigan State.
I hate the fact, and people keep bringing this up. There is no room in that tunnel going in and out from the locker rooms in Michigan Stadium. But
never thought about creating another tunnel.
Yeah, they need to stagger it where one team comes out than the other does, and do the same thing. I mean, they've had to do that in the NFL.
Well, wait a second. With all the money these colleges make, can't they just construct another tunnel?
I don't know. I don't know if they can widen it or not.
I mean, they don't pay the players, so they should
put another tunnel in. I don't know because they've got last night.
Expand the tunnel and put a partition between it, one for home, one for visitors.
Well, I mean, there's in the Cotton Bowl, and they've had trouble with this between Texas and OU. There's one tunnel coming out from both lockers, and they've had trouble in the past before. So they stagger it. One team comes out, then the other one comes out.
Right.
They don't let them come out together anymore. And they're going to have to do the same thing in Michigan because
that's probably why they play.
It's going to be ridiculous. It was a trouble in the Michigan-Ohio State game last year, in Penn State game 2 weeks ago, and now last night.
Brett, I'll answer that question. Yes, Tennessee is for real.
Tennessee Volunteers are for real.
Yes.
We'll find out how real for real they are.
They're playing in Georgia next week. We'll see how that goes.
That'll be could be the game of the year.
Yep. And then I think it's ironic that the AP puts them in Ohio State tied for second, which allows Tennessee to leapfrog Ohio State if they beat Georgia next week.
That could be interesting semifinal game between Tennessee and Ohio State.
Absolutely.
Could very well be.
Yep.
I don't.
All right,
think
guys.
Okay,
what else? Anything else when we get out of here?
Oh, Ken, what were you going to say?
I said I don't think Clemson is as good as they have been.
Clemson's a fake. Clemson's fake. I don't like to be
honest. I'm not going to call them fake. I just don't think they're as good as they were.
Is Dabo still there? Sweeney?
Yeah, he's still there.
He's still there. I ain't got nothing else.
There's been an AJ Dillon sighting in the.
I see that.
Oh.
I see that.
There we go.
I mean, he's languishing on my fantasy roster. For nothing.
All right, we're going to get out of here for this week. Thanks for the 3 people that showed up. We appreciate you. On behalf of my co-host, Elliot, Big E Lamba, Ken Coslow, and John G. Olson, who's probably pulling what hair he has left on his head out right now. Not any up there now, but any maybe he's pulling one of his beard like Elliot said.
He's kvetching right now.
Yeah. We're going to get out of here. We'll be back again next Sunday night. as usual, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. On that note, Elliot, play the outro.
Well, there you have it, Nerd Nation. Another Sunday episode of the Sports Nerd Show in the books, and we are still alive to tell about it. Now, on behalf of our host, Scott, the Sports Nerd, right? And his co-host, John Olsen, Ken Coslow, lovable members in the Ramp Pack, and yes, me, Big E, the entire pack would once again like to thank you all for participating with us in the best 90 minutes of sports smack talk on the web today. So until next Sunday night, dear nation, we would like to leave you with a quick PSA. Please stay safe. Please practice social distancing. And for heaven's sake, please wear a damn mask. You all just got hit with a pack rant from the Rat Pack. And with that, fellas, we